Gaia showed up for you. Damn. You got the Earth? You got the whole planet? It's a mother thing. Okay. Mom, the mother. Okay. All right, so the elements that are in the earth, aside from the periodic table, which I do not know, but I do have a copy of, and I look at it and go, huh. But there's earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, or ether. And those elements put together are thematic for the entire planet in different mixtures of the two. So if you mix earth and water, you get mud. If you mix air and fire, you get a disaster. So there are things that are out of balance. Or when they're in balance and in perfect harmony, and you have the right balance of earth and water, you get growth and vibrance. And so for those who are not thriving in the homeostasis of themselves, there is an imbalance in the elements, is what she is showing me. And Gaia is so fucking awesome to work with. She is, I have to tell you, in case you wonder what she looks like, she looks like, have you seen those reels that are AI and it's like some goddess that's just like morphing into every other goddess, morphing into every other goddess, and you can tell it's AI and it's animated. She's like that, but she's all the elements and everything moving at a rapid pace. Like her hair has like birds and leaves, and she's got things growing out and falling away. She's got every season going on. She's got everything happening all at once, and she's also beautiful, and she smells really sweet, like a sweet pea in your face, and she's like a breeze. And I'm explaining all that to you because I want you to experience it in your head. Because this is a balance issue, she's saying. Your elements are out of balance. Wow. Okay, so there is this is so weird because I had a dream a couple weeks ago about a fairy tale that I picked up off of a shelf in a bookstore, and the book was like fucking 50 billion pounds, and it was 80 billion years old, and it was at Barnes & Noble. And it was all old fairy tales, and this fairy tale, and I can send it to you because it's very relevant to you. It was, no one knows this story, I certainly didn't, but it's a European, like maybe British, old fairy tale about the lunar moon, the goddess, the moon goddess, and she lived in the bog, and she lit the way for people that were going through the bog to find their way at night. But it kind of speaks to the phases of the moon, and that when she was hidden and it was dark, the moon goddess, she covered her head in a cloak. But when she did that, there was no one to scare away the scary things because it was too dark, and the scary things attacked her and threw her in the mud of the bog, and then threw a large stone on top of her so she couldn't get free. And she didn't have the power to get herself out by herself. She was flattened by this stone, and she was too weary to get herself out of the bog. But everyone in the town nearby was like, where did the moon go? She helps us, and without her, we're not safe. And so they went looking to to find her, and they brought certain items with them that I can't quite recall right now, but there was a specific stone and there was a lit candle and something else, and they find her underneath the stone and they release her from the bog, which is just like swamp shit that she was stuck in, which to me felt like depression. And the key to that fairy tale is that you cannot lift yourself out of it. You have to be part of other things so that people will miss you and notice when you're gone, and they will come and they will pull you out of the bog. But the trick with this is that when you're depressed, you don't have the strength to reach out to anyone to let them know you're not okay. And so you just drown in the swamp with this huge weight on you. And it feels so alone and so insurmountable. And I see you covered in cobwebs that are binding you from reaching out. But it's because the bog is imbalanced in its elements. It has too much water. Without all that water, it would be soil that you can walk easily through. And so it is imbalanced. Emotion is water, so there's just too much emotion because it's not getting moved through you. It's getting stuck, which is what bog water is like. There's no stream of it running through. It needs to move through. The cycle is stuck. And Gaia wants you to know, in her, everything cycles. Nothing is to stay stuck when she is in charge. It's okay to be in darkness. But even in darkness, one must leave the cave and go out and see the sky. Because she made that for you too. But also to remember that that bog and that stone is an allegory too for rebirth, which the moon does. Every day of the month it changes. And a mistake that people make is to believe that being one thing, one emotion, one stable state is what you're supposed to be. Because that's what doctors tell you. If you have a bad night of sleep, they give you trazodone. If you are anxious and depressed and you're going through grief or sadness or loss, they will give you a pill to not feel those things, but it traps emotion. It's still there, the feelings still exist, you just can't access them. So they can't flow through and out of you. It isn't bad to be sad. It's not wrong to be moody. The moon doesn't stay the same, ever. It's always changing. And as women, like Gaia, we are always supposed to be changing. Our bodies change all month long. Sometimes our bellies are bigger and we think we're fat, but really we're just full of menstrual blood. And we just need to purge it. Remember that you can shed that. Even if a person does not have a womb, it is energy that we can shed. It is with intention that we shed what no longer serves. And I'm being reminded in that Magdalene book that I'm reading right now too, it talks about how in ancient Mesopotamia, women considered themselves the sacrificial lamb that we know in Christianity because they bled every month. So their womb held the sins of the entire community and bled it out and started anew. It was something that women did as a mirror of Gaia, as a mirror of the moon, that everything cycles. When we are not taught that it's okay to cycle, we pathologize cycles as being bad. And the fear, the fear and the sadness and the self-judgment and the shame around that cycling is what twists it into being darkness that you can't get out of, because it's the hyperfixation that I am wrong, I am not okay, I am such a burden, no one can rely on me, no one cares about me, I've lost trust. Whatever narrative that goes through the head of a person who feels that they failed, that shame holds them in the darkness and in the water, in the bog, under the stone. But to understand that the cycle is part of you as a human being on this planet, you are not expected to stay the same all the time. You are expected to flow with the cycles of nature. We go within in the dark in the winter because so does Gaia. She goes inside in order to germinate and prepare for all that she is going to push forward in the spring. That is life. You think she is dead, she is alive. She resurrects, as will you. You will resurrect. You are alive. You remember who you are. You will remember who you are. You will bloom. You will be beautiful. Don't judge yourself for the blooms that haven't yet sprouted. You are not done. You are not dead. You have just forgotten how to cycle. Cycle through to push out the blossoms. And in order to do that, know, okay, prepare, buckle up. You are lovable in every state you are. You are lovable when you don't feel lovable. When you feel like you failed, you are still lovable. When you feel like you aren't being productive, you are lovable. When you feel ugly, you are lovable. When you feel old, you are lovable. When you feel alone, you are lovable. You are always lovable. It has never stopped being the case that you are lovable. She wants you to really know you're lovable. But you will remember who you are once you believe and know. Today you are this, and tomorrow you will be something new, because everything moves. If today is bad, tomorrow will be different, because tomorrow is not today. It moves. Do not get stuck. Don't get stuck.